Let's move on toward the next subject of the evening. If you're a boxing fan and you've been reading your newspapers, you're well aware there is again turmoil in the heavyweight division. To shed a ray of light on that volatile subject, we're going to revisit now some of the issues at hand and hear from some of the heavyweight principals.
In the eyes of the boxing public, Evander Holyfield now rules as undisputed heavyweight champion. But will the World Boxing Council strip its belt away? To understand that question, you must first go back to last February in Tokyo. Buster Douglas went down in the 8th round and was granted a long count. At least that's the view of Tyson's promoter, Don King. Immediately after the fight, King registered his protest against this so-called injustice.
Everybody's seen the facts, and the facts are irrefutable and incontrovertible.
Now chaos ensued. The IBF immediately backed Douglas as heavyweight champion, but the WBA and WBC withheld their recognition until a public backlash forced those two sanctioning organizations to establish Buster Douglas as undisputed heavyweight king. Back in New York, Don King and Mike Tyson eventually followed suit.
There's never been a question from our side as to who the heavyweight champion of the world was.
And I respect the fact that the new champion won the title. But the only thing I'm saying, I wouldn't want the title on a change decision. You know what I mean? You win the title in the ring, you lose it in the ring, I believe. I'm just saying that Mike's not going on the deep end, he's not discouraged. The only thing I ask for is just a rematch, that's all. Simple as that. Once I get a rematch, I'll take care of everything from there. That's all I'm asking for as a champion.
A rematch that wasn't to be. Buster Douglas gave the first shot to #1 contender Evander Holyfield, who ironically had waited more than a year for his opportunity. Don King, meanwhile, had collected letters from all three organizations stipulating that the victorious Evander Holyfield would have to fight Mike Tyson in his first defense. But Holyfield, his promoter Dan Duva, and manager Shelley Finkel had already signed Big George Foreman for April 19th.
You're watching a man who has been known to knock opponents out with glancing blows. His hands are so heavy that what becomes a knockout punch doesn't always look like one, and Rodriguez goes down.
When the Holyfield-Foreman fight was announced, both the WBA and IBF recanted their earlier mandates, but the WBC still hadn't sanctioned the fight.
All championships are won and lost in the ring. Nobody can take away from Evander Holyfield what he won in that ring, except the man to my right, George Foreman. Jose Suleiman may weigh as much as him, but he can't take it away from him. Only George Foreman can. But as far as the WBC is concerned, it's based on that phony argument in Tokyo that somehow Tyson was deprived of his just due. Somehow Buster Douglas didn't knock him out. Somehow something occurred there what the rest of the world didn't see. It's a phony argument, and we don't want to give it any more credence. We don't think it deserves any. And as far as we're concerned, this is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. The winner of this fight will be the undisputed champion until somebody's able to beat him.
Dan Duva went to court in New Jersey and was granted an injunction forbidding the WBC from stripping Holyfield. Jose Suleiman and the WBC countered with a request to have the entire matter sent to binding arbitration, both parties agreeing to abide by the decision. Duva and Holyfield have since accepted that offer. And as for Mike Tyson, he now sits and waits for the winner of Holyfield and Foreman. Or if the WBC does indeed strip Holyfield, there's talk of a Tyson fight with Razor Ruddock of Canada for the WBC crown. Stay tuned for the continuing saga of backroom boxing politics at their most familiar.
And we bring you back live to ringside, where there is news on the heavyweight front today. Earlier we spoke to Holyfield's co-manager Shelley Finkel, who told us that WBC chief Jose Suleiman, in a bit of a surprise, had given to him Finkel to hold for Holyfield the WBC Heavyweight Championship belt. He gave it to him today. Finkel said he didn't place much importance on that, but he did say that he's totally confident arbitration will go in Holyfield's favor. What do you make of Suleiman handing over the belt to Shelley Finkel today?
I have no idea. What can you say about Jose Suleiman, who tells people still that he thinks that Mike Tyson beat Buster Douglas in Tokyo? This is all really unfortunate for Tyson, I think, because it gives the appearance that he's still trying to win outside the ring what he lost inside the ring. Mike Tyson should stay active, stay in shape. His turn is coming.
So what would the reaction of the boxing public be if, in fact, Suleiman and the WBC were to strip Holyfield of that title and set up a championship bout between Tyson and Razor Ruddock?
Well, it would be declared another in a long series of black eyes on boxing, and I don't think the public would, in the end, accept that as a championship fight.